Guys, this is Pilo, and this is El Paso Creative Podcast Show. So let's do it.
Awesome, Pilo. Thank you so much for being part of our show. It's been a while since we've done a podcast show, so it's great to start off again with an amazing guest as yourself.
Oh,
A
thank
lot
you.
of history, a lot of background, a lot of things you've done here locally in El Paso, but aside from El Paso, also our sister city, in Ciudad Juárez. So, welcome onto the show, and just so that people know, people who are listening, they know who you are. Can you just tell us, like, I guess in a short way, who you are, what got you into art, what are you doing, who's Pilo?
Uh-huh. First of all, thanks so much for having me. And I mean, Pilo, it's just a guy born and raised in Ciudad Juárez. I started with screen printing when I was 12 on my dad's workshop. And since then, I've been like super into, I don't know, like graphic design and all that. After that, I started to talk with a lot with graphic designers and some artists from Juarez. So from there, I started to like realize I really like that. So I went to college here uh, with my graphic design degree. After that, I started to make a bunch of like crazy stuff with my partner in life, Atenas. And one of those things was Jellyfish Colectivo. From there, we start to, I mean, we made a bunch of like different projects from murals, exhibitions, a 3D animation like studio, a non-for-profit with, we create some like uh, street art festivals here and things like that. And right now I'm like exploring my solo, like, I don't know, like my personal side on the art, like I've been exploring that like 2 years ago. And last year I did a show with Galleria Lincoln. And yeah, that's it. Short and sweet.
And so let's talk about that. I remember that show, the Galeria Lincoln one. I remember that show was one that always kept getting postponed because of the whole COVID situation, all that. People were eager to go to it. How how was it? I mean, it's kind of crazy for me to think about it. How you literally decorated and pretty much drew on a whole house, and then had a whole shipping container in the back just full of your art. How was that experience like of having to like just kind of take a house and turn that house into art?
That was crazy actually. I mean, was all the process was like pretty unique. I mean, in terms of the COVID situation, because the first like date for the opening was on April, I think, last year, and from there we jumped till August. I mean, last week of August, I think. So I had those like 5 months
Yeah.
extras to create more work. So and mm, at that time in Juarez and in El Paso, it was a lockdown. So we was at our houses, like just
You got
doing
so much
nothing.
free time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was crazy to me because that was a big opportunity to work on the pieces and create new pieces. And I've been adding a lot of like new stuff for the exhibition. And I don't know, last week at the gallery, I've been talking with Diego and Tino, and I told them like, bros, I need to paint the walls too. And they told me like, we have these like big ship container on the back. So if you want to use it, just think about it because it's like super big. It's a
Yeah.
lot of, it's a lot of space for you. And I said like, okay, let's do it. And at the end, works.
Mhm.
Was it crazy? At the end, I paint even the floor and a
Yeah.
mural, like a quick mural. I painted mural like in a day and things like that. So, I mean, it's my own personality too. My
Yeah.
personality is like I need to. I mean, I'm obsessive with some stuff. So I've been there like just painting. At the
Yeah.
last minute, I said like, okay, it's ready. But I mean, I'm kind of crazy on that shit, to be honest.
And I remember going. I remember going and like right when you enter, it's like entering to like a whole different world. it was crazy to see that dog, the dog house that you made, you know, out of fire and everything, and then like all the different art pieces, everything. I remember, I think I asked you a question one time. I pulled you aside and I was like, "Hey, how'd you make this?" And you said you got, I think, some stuff out of just like a junkyard, and you created art out of things like that. And I think I told
Yeah.
you, I was like, if I were to see it, I would have just left it there, but I didn't have that creative like thought of like I could turn this into art. So it's crazy how like anything, literally anything you see around you, you could turn into a sculpture or some type of artwork or art form and just create something out of it. So it is crazy. And then another thing I kind of wanted to ask you while I was seeing like all that artwork and all the shipping containers and how you did all your paintings is I saw a lot of different phrases and different words that you would include into your paintings as far as like poder, vida, you know, that knife. So what are
Mhm.
all those things represented to you? What is your personal artwork? What does it mean to you? How does it represent you?
Yeah, nah, to be honest, I mean, talking about the all those like trash, and transform that trash into an art. I mean, it's pretty crazy because when we start, like Atenas and me, we took a lot of like trash from dumpsters to create our first show, and it was a lot of cardboard and things like that. So
Yeah.
we transformed that in illustration. So since then, we've been doing this. So to me, it's like a way to see how to create something like cheap and crazy, and I don't know, man. Some things are beautiful on trash. You can see like an old door, on trash, but if it's beautiful and old, you can say like, if I paint something over it, it's gonna look like amazing. So yeah, man. And yeah, the phrases and all that, I mean, I try to be like really honest when I'm like painting something. And I really think the words has an amazing like power and an amazing like I don't know, like a vibrance. You can hear a word and you can say it, and that meaning, it's like it's huge. It's like poder, it's power to me. That talks about, I mean, the power of the people who control a lot of stuff, the power you have in your own life, the power between the sun, like giving us all this like energy every day, the power of living. It's just like, it's that power. It's that like that amazing like I mean, it's like a fire.
Mm.
It's something like unique to me. It's the power, but sometimes I use power just to criticize something. Like all these like different like distribution of the wealth in the world and all this crazy stuff. So those words to me are like different meanings. It's like the vida to me is it's, I mean, it's amazing. It's life. Life is, at the end, is beautiful to me. Life is beautiful. The system sometimes is like really really hard
Mm.
to, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
Life is a struggle because the system we have, because we have this system. We need to make money, we need to do this, but at the end, that's life. At the end, that's life. That's how we are like
Like
you
how we're
know
living. Yeah.
yeah. And the knife, to me, the knife represents death. All this fear about death, about, I mean, it's like, it's a wonderful thing if you think that with a knife, with a small knife, you can I mean, you can
Just
stop
end the
living.
life of
it's
people, you know?
it's crazy. That's why to me the knife represents that, and represents all this fight, this struggle, this fear about death. And yeah, I mean, maybe because I'm a graphic designer, that's why I'm like pretty, I don't know. I'm thinking in graphics all the time, and in words, on letters and things like that. Maybe because I'm a graphic designer, so all the time I'm thinking on all those symbols or graphics or logotypes or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think about it as like how you were explaining it, like kind of like a life cycle, you know, it's like, okay, so you have, like you said, the power in life, and then you have a knife that could end like life. So it's like you have life, you start off as life, and then the power
yeah,
comes in like as the middleman, like throughout your whole life, you're run by power. And then at the end, it's like the knife is just like your life could end at any moment, you know? So I kind
mhm.
of see like as it a cycle and everything. So I kind of see it through all your paintings, and it's pretty interesting. I also see a cat in every painting. Is that like something else that's meaningful to you?
The cats.
Yeah.
I mean, we have three cats, so after like 5 years living with them like daily, I think those are like beautiful and like mysticism, all the mysticism of that animal to me is like amazing, man.
Yeah.
Because I mean, recently we adopt a new cat from street,
Mhm.
and it's like pretty impressive how they feel you, and how they know when you're sad, when you're mad, when
Yeah.
and at nights they're like screaming or doing things like to any, to a fucking random place and
Yeah.
nothing. And you can say like that's super mystic to me. It's like super crazy, man. Maybe they are talking with another like a parallel universe or whatever. I mean, to me, the cats are like this beautiful, like, I don't know, it's like a machine of mysticism.
They have
So
like a characteristic, and I get you, yeah. Because I also seen like sometimes like the cats are crying in the photos, or sometimes they're all happy, or sometimes they're doing something crazy in the not the photos, the art pieces. And so
yeah.
like they do have a unique kind of presence. And
Well, but
so
but yeah, but the animals in general all are amazing. So I really love animals. I don't know why,
yeah.
but yeah.
And so painting all these things and coming up with all these things, and it all comes out of pretty much your own self. What are the most challenging parts, I guess, of like coming up with these ideas? What do you face as a challenge more in yourself when you're painting or you're making artwork or things like that?
I mean, the challenge always is to keep my my mind focused. Because when I'm painting, I'm like, I mean, when I start a painting, I have like a basic idea of how I wanna finish it.
Yeah.
But when I'm working on it, it's like never, never I gonna finish because I always been like, okay, I need to add this, I need to add that, and to me, I mean, this like process of painting is like I start to hear a lot of like news, a lot of like things are going on our world right now,
Yeah.
and from there I start to create these images or things like that. So if I spend like a month doing a painting, at the end I'm gonna be adding new stuff because I've been like hearing or seeing new stuff during all that month, so it's a very complex like process. But sometimes some paintings are like super fast. It's really weird. So some paintings I can finish it in 1 week and I can say like, okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I never like super happy, but I can say like, okay, that's finished.
Mm.
So I mean, it's really weird. Depends on my mood, I think, all the circumstances around me and things like that. I mean, I take that like super like personal, and it's pretty. I don't know, like interesting to me. See
Yeah.
how I can react to every each painting.
Yeah. And then that kind
But
of brings
yeah.
up like my next question is like, how do you as an artist know when either a painting is done or whether you need to continue it? Is like, because a lot of people say that, you just never know. But like, do you have like a certain process, or do you know when like your paintings are done or your artwork?
Nah, to be honest, if I have a painting on my wall
Mhm.
for a year, maybe I'll be adding new stuff all the time. And the other thing is, when I finish a piece, I can say like, okay, it's done, it's cool. But if I see that same painting like 3 months later, I can say like, holy shit, it's horrible, man. I need to change that. I need to do this, whatever. And to be honest, always I try to evolve, and be like less bad, and
Yeah.
be better all the time. And sometimes I'm like super like, I don't know, it's embarrassing to me sometimes to see like a past work. It's pretty weird to me. If I
Yeah.
see a piece from 2015, sometimes I'm like it's super embarrassing to me. It's like, damn, bro, I paint that shit. Is fucking horrible, man. And but yeah, it's pretty weird, man.
But you evolve, like you get better and better as you go out throughout the years.
I
So that also
hope.
brings out the you hope, and so that also brings out the next question is just like, what did you learn from all those mistakes? Like, how did you learn and progress?
I mean, sometimes I don't learn shit, and that's a problem. Because when you don't learn nothing, you're gonna do the same shit again. So I try to learn from my mistakes for sure, especially in the when you start to take this like more serious.
Mhm.
Because when we start to do this, it was like a game for us, and I don't know, after project, we start to realize, oh shit, this shit is like kind of serious. So let's do it. And yeah, sometimes if you take this like super serious, you're gonna see those mistakes and you're gonna feel like really bad, like, damn, bro.
Yeah,
But if you maintain this like balance between how you love to do this shit and this like series, like part of this, it's a good way to see mistakes as I don't know, as a thing needs to happen, because needs to happen. We're not machines or whatever. We're gonna
yeah,
have mistakes. The thing is like just to fix those mistakes or enjoy those mistakes. Because when I'm painting, I have a lot of mistakes, to be honest with you, man. A lot of mistakes. But some of those mistakes, I really love it. It's like a holy shit, it's a happy accident. It's
yeah.
like,
I was about to say
damn,
that.
bro, I really like that shit. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, and so you know, when you, I guess when you first got started and you went through all these little mistakes, what resources do you have? A lot of artists, they don't start off with like the best of the best as far as like, either paintbrushes or canvases or, the paint itself. Or so what did you use to have? Because if you're really passionate about a project, you use whatever you want, or whatever you have available to you. So what kind of resources did you have? Did you ever get it like experimental with whatever you saw to try to create something better?
Yeah, that's a really good question, bro. Because
Mhm.
when I start, I was painting with almost anything. It's like if I have this like horrible brush, I gotta use it. Whatever. If I have this horrible paint, I gotta use it. But if you are trying to evolve and if you are trying to do things better, it's like, I mean, you need to do it, man. You need to buy cool brushes. You need to buy good paint and good canvases. Because at the beginning, I've been painting in like all wood and shit like that. Even for this last show, I used some like old U-Haul door and shit like that.
Yeah,
But I've been like treating that shit to make a canvas from that. But in the past, I've been using like just trash. But at the end, you say like, okay, if I want to make something like really like cool, or I mean something durable, you need to use like good stuff at the end. And but it's a process. But that's not like I mean, it's not oh my cat is like here asking for my attention. But I mean, but if you use, you can start with anything, to be honest, man. The important part is your ideas, your sketches. After that, you can solve all that like process. You can say like, okay, I want to make this painting, I want to make this sculpture, I want to make this like project. How I gonna make it, and how I wanna see the result of this.
yeah,
And if you ask that, you're gonna find your answer for the materials, for what you need and all that thing. But it's a process, man. I start to paint, to be honest with you, I start to paint with apple barrels from Walmart, to be honest. Like super cheap, super like not good quality and shit like that. But we start with that at the beginning.
yeah. And
And yeah, because it was the things like on the store here in Juarez, so we bought that.
with anything you can do. Yeah, and I think I mentioned this before. It's like even with a simple pen and paper or pencil and paper,
Yeah,
you could create crazy stuff, even origami's and things like that out of paper. It's
yeah.
just that you got to be really driven, motivated, and passionate about it. And I probably mentioned this um, a couple podcasts before. Is a role model. So I've always looked into this one artist called Edgar Degas. He was a French ballerina painter. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Who he used to go out like before photography was even a thing. He used to go out to
Okay,
ballerina shows and he used to paint the ballerina shows. And
cool.
so it's pretty interesting how he used to go to paint those ballerina shows and then somebody got his paintings and they turned them into photographs and all that. So a lot of people have those type of like role models, people that they were inspired by in order to do what they want to do. And who's been your role models? Who's inspired you? Who have you connected with in the art?
Uh, I mean, to be honest, role model. I have my parents. To be honest,
Mm.
is the first thing I have on my mind right now. And but as an artist of a, I mean, it's different because uh, I mean, my Atenas, my girlfriend, people who I've been working with them in Jellyfish, like Kukui and Pika, all those guys like teach me a lot. Atenas is teaching me a lot always because we are like together working, and it's like this kind of dynamic. And I can tell you like, oh yeah, this like super crazy artists and whatever. But to be honest, all that like dynamic and all that interaction between like artists,
Yeah,
you start to learn a lot, and even just with talk, if you start to talk with some artists from El Paso, I have super good friends in El Paso, and when I talk with them, they teach me a lot too, and but the thing is, a role model like for inspiration and shit like that, sometimes you can find in Instagram like crazy shit, man,
yeah,
like super crazy stuff, and
mhm,
you can see amazing works, amazing projects, and that's this kind of an inspiration sometimes, even a good movie, a good like a show or whatever, that
yeah,
can be your role model at that time, it's pretty weird because sometimes I feel like empty, and you can hear a new song or whatever, maybe a really punk song or whatever, and
yeah,
you can start to say like, "Fuck, man, that's my role model right now. I want to live
yeah.
like that shit." So
And
you start to
even
do shit. It's pretty weird, man.
and even things like this. So like these kind of things also inspire people, whether it's like a podcast or somebody sees your work, things like that. Because
Yeah,
yeah, a couple of days back, I did a podcast with a film production company, and somebody ended up reaching out to me, and they're like, "Hey, I heard your podcast, or I heard or saw your show, and that inspired me to go out and make a film, things like that." So it's even like how you
that's
said,
amazing, man.
people here locally, people here grow together. How you said like your
Mhm.
friends here in El Paso and things like that. How you guys connect and you guys help each other out. It's growing together and also inspiring each other, which I think is a pretty cool thing to do, especially if you're trying to grow with the in the right industry, in the right way, in the right path.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, and sometimes you can learn a lot and grow a lot from people from out your profession. You can be talking with a lawyer. You can learn a lot. You can say like, "Fuck, man, this guy has a different view of the same shit of me, so I can learn from that." And it's pretty, I mean, to being alive is like a constant like learning, all
Yeah,
the time you can fucking learn. And the role models, I mean, I don't trust in anyone that like super big, like a big artist name,
yeah,
because I don't know, man, I really love a lot of work of out there, a lot, but I mean, to be a role model to me is like, I need to talk with you. I need to work with you. You need to like, I need to see how you work. Because
yeah.
after the work, it's a person there, and that's pretty interesting too.
Mhm. Yeah, and so I kind of want to jump back a little bit from when we first started. Is I forgot to mention one thing, the mask. What does the mask mean to you?
The mask. I
Yeah,
mean, the mask is pretty weird because um, I just use the mask because when I was a kid, I, I don't know why I've been loving. I don't want to say this because it's like a cliche, but it's true. When I was a kid, the lucha libre was like amazing to me when I
yeah,
was a kid. I was loving that shit, and I've been like doing that shit with my dad. Um, like watching the wrestling matches and all that. We've been there at the gym watching here the Conan el Barbaro against whatever. But after the show, all these people like selling all these masks and shit like that. Since then, when I was a kid, I really loved the mask. I don't know why. After that, when I grew up, I really loved the mask, but like an art piece,
hmm,
when I went to Oaxaca or Mexico City or even here in Juarez, you can see these amazing like pieces of art from uh, from people from the area. Amazing like devils and like jaguars and shit like that. So I really love masks. So to me, And thinking of like a graphic designer, to me, the mask is a it's an amazing like I don't know, like a graphic part of yourself. You know, you can add a fucking like a character, like a shit like that.
To make yourself more unique in a way.
Yeah, make yourself more unique. Because if I tell you like, yeah, it's because the rebellion or whatever, I'm gonna be lying. To me, it's just like a, is this graphic like powerful shit to see a guy without face? You know, we have some fucking colors at his face and shit like that. To me, that's like really crazy and really like beautiful. Because I don't wanna cover my identity or whatever. Is I'm
Yeah,
using my face for all, but that shit I use that shit more for a graphic stuff. And I did the last one because I've been doing a lot of rainbows on my pieces and shit like that. So that's why I use that like mask with all the rainbow colors and
yeah.
all that shit. Because I really,
And
I mean,
it differentiates you, and it makes you like it makes you stand out away from like just being the normal. It makes you like how we said unique in a way. So
yeah, because my face is pretty ugly, man. I need to cover that
I
to cover that
know,
shit.
I know. And so, also for like people who are either already painters or getting started, how do you seek opportunity? How do you go out there and, get gigs, or how do you go out there and, do exhibitions or showcase your artwork?
That's a good question right now, man. Because I'm available. So let me give you my cell if someone wants a clue. Nah, nah.
So there you
But I
go.
mean, yeah. But I mean, right now it's pretty weird, man. Because when we start, I mean, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that shit was like starting
Mhm.
in a way. It was MySpace and all that shit. So it was really weird how we get gigs at that time. It was more like a through people who talks about us and another guy talk about us in a meeting or whatever. It was like that. Right
Yeah,
now, it's pretty amazing how Instagram and Facebook and all those like platforms are working for that, because you can make gigs for, I don't know, for someone in Australia or for someone in fucking Japan and shit. Like
crazy.
that's pretty cool. And
Mhm.
then the important thing is put your work out there, because to be honest, I don't know, like 7 years ago, I was like super, I don't know how can say this, but super like renegade with the fucking social media, man. I was like, nah, I don't gonna use that shit. I don't wanna
Yeah.
be part of that shit. That shit is controlling all that shit, the stuff. But with the time, I'm being more mature, I guess.
Mhm.
So like, okay, that shit is like crazy. Yeah, it's a lot of like bad stuff, but it's really cool too. And I can take advantage of that shit. So I started to use Instagram a year ago again a lot, because I mean, you need to do it, man, to
Yeah.
get gigs, to get commissions. But yeah, man, it's kind of process. I mean, I always think if you are not doing nothing, if you are just you in your house thinking about do something, it's not gonna happen. No one's gonna call you or whatever. If you are out there like making like your own projects, personal projects, nobody asks for that, nobody wants that shit, but you want to do it and you do it. From there you're gonna start to have like proposals or projects or shit like that. So the thing is the movement. You need to start to do shit. You need to start to do shit. And don't feel bad if no one is like giving you likes or that shit on social
Yeah.
media. Someone is gonna see that shit and gonna say like, okay, this guy paints or whatever. Let me ask him. I have this little gig for someone who paints, so I'm gonna ask him.
Mhm.
So it's something like that, man. Yeah, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more like a resource, if you use social media, if you don't like it personally, it's a resource to, people run ads now and stuff like that to sell their products and things like that. So, social media, it's evolving, bro. Yeah.
But bro, but right now it's a tool, and I think the future is digital. I'm pretty sure the future is now. So yeah, you need to use that shit. It's a tool, and you can take advantage of that shit. You
Mm.
need to understand that shit, because I'm kind of an old man for a lot of stuff, like social media, like YouTube. Like I'm a graphic designer. I can use After Effects. I can use Photoshop and all
Yeah.
that shit. But if you talk about social media, I'm kind of fucking old man, to be honest, man.
Yeah.
Even I was against fucking cell phones like 10 years ago. I was like, no way, I don't gonna have a fucking cell phone. But I mean, because I was being
Well,
like my punk shit, because
yeah.
when I start, I was a skater when I was a teenager. So from there, I start to hear music. I start to see a bunch of graffiti artists and shit like that. And to me, it was like, nah, man, we need to be out of the system, shit like that. But I mean, at the end, you need to take advantage. You can keep your ideas, whatever. But guys, yeah, all the people out there, we need to use that shit, man. That's a perfect tool to have gigs and works and shit like that.
Like that, yeah. Even word of mouth, even people that like your work, they'll recommend you and stuff. So
Yeah,
and that too.
no, that's true.
But what would be one thing you like about the art world and one thing you hate about the art world
Mm,
as an artist?
I mean, I really love the art world, but let me think that. I don't wanna say something stupid, bro. But I mean, right now I really love the art world in the way you can live through art. You can start to live from that. You can start to charge for an illustration. You can start to charge for I don't know, for an idea. Sometimes for ideas, you can charge money for ideas and shit like that. And like 10 years ago, it was like super, super complex. Because I remember 10 years ago, it was more like okay, you can do the design and the illustration, and I can pay you for printing the shirts. Yeah, the illustration and the design are free. And you was say like, what the fuck, man? That's the hard part, man. You can fucking print that shit, whatever. I mean, I can do a design for you, but that's gonna be unique. But the printing, you can do that shit anywhere. And right now, I'm seeing like more people into like, yeah, I want to pay for a design, I want to pay for this idea, whatever. That's cool right now. And the thing with the art world right now, I really love too. It's pretty huge, man. It's huge right now. It's fucking huge, man. With Instagram, you can see people from all over the world, even from the region, man. A lot of people doing shit, putting shit out there. That's amazing, man. And
Yeah.
it's pretty inspiring. It's pretty. I mean, sometimes I'm like super depressed or something like that, and I see Instagram and I can see a lot of people doing shit, and I say like, holy shit, I need to do some shit right now because a
Yeah.
lot of people is working. So
Mm.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The thing I hate right now, I mean, it's kind of the same right now. When you have a lot of people doing the same thing, you can
Mm.
have like a trend. It's not like a movement. It's not like some people like not being like super honest with the thing they are doing. It's more for followers or whatever. That shit, I really hate that shit sometimes. It's like, man, don't do that shit. Just be honest with yourself. Do the shit you love. If you don't love that shit, just being honest and say like, okay, I'm gonna do this shit just because I fucking love it. But
Yeah.
sometimes I see a lot of people doing the same like thing, it's like a pattern. I think that's a consequence about the social media too, because you are seeing a lot of shit. So to be honest with you, I'm not trying to see a lot like Instagram or whatever. When I'm gonna create something, I start to just like, okay, I gotta do it, and let's do it. Because I mean,
Because you don't want to be like the same as everyone. You want to be like you want to create something that's your own.
yeah, or being like part of these like trends, sometimes are trends, and it's pretty weird, man. I'm not saying like it's super bad. I'm just saying it's something is happening. It's like a phenomenon. Sometimes I hate that because sometimes you say like, holy shit, man, I did this shit and looks like a fucking 10,000 more shits. It's pretty weird, but
Yeah.
that's why you need to like, mm, I don't know, like work more in your creativity, watch a lot of stuff. You can, I try to watch a lot of like different stuff, not just like graphics,
Mm.
more like movies and I don't know, crazy shit like
Yeah.
podcasts, a lot of things in the skate world, a lot of shit, different shit to have different ideas. It's like sometimes it's really complicated in this world because you're watching the same shit in the social media sometimes all the time. So yeah, man. I mean, I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah, man.
No, yeah, that's perfect. And then so also, what would be like your dream project? Something you've always wanted to. to make or to collaborate with somebody or something, like your dream project?
My dream project. Uh, to be honest, my dream project
To
is
paint the Eiffel
some
Tower or something.
yeah, no. Now my dream project is it's to create like a big like I don't know how they call it. It's like an art spot, you know, with a bunch of fucking art, a venue to have like music concerts, a gallery to have fucking art, a lot of walls outside to have a murals and shit like that. That's my
Yeah.
dream project. Even a fucking skate park on the inside to have a lot of fucking skate and movies and shit like that's my dream project. And I'm working on that. I'm trying, to be honest, I'm trying. I hope to have something like that for
Like a
this
creative
year.
venue. Yeah.
Yeah, like create a venue because my that's a dream project, you know. It's
Mm.
because if you do that shit right, you can have amazing artists doing shit there. You can
Yeah.
have amazing bands,
Mhm.
artists in all the ways, you know.
Yeah.
Painters, musicians, filmmakers, poets, and a lot of people doing things in a spot. That's my dream project. Then I want to create that shit, to be honest.
And I always say, like, art is everywhere, like in
Yeah.
everything. Like we always use that phrase, the world with the earth without art is like if you take out the art in it, because it's just without art, the world would be plain. So
Mhm.
yeah, that would be a really cool thing to do. Is just like have a big venue where it's just like every creative mind is in it, creating all at once. And it's just a place people can go and get inspired, encourage each other, things like that.
Yeah, because to be honest, to collaborate with someone, it's like, I mean, if you have a project collaborating with different like people with different skills, you know, different sets of skills,
Mhm.
like filmmakers, poets, and writers and painters, everything together, you're gonna create something amazing, man.
Yeah, no,
Because
for sure.
I mean, some people think in images. Maybe my thoughts aren't images, but maybe for someone are on letters, someone other like videos, and you
Mhm.
can create all that shit. You can combine that shit and make an amazing project. That's my dream project, and
Yeah.
I hope to make it one day, man.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And so, the last three things that I kind of wanted to ask you, the first one would be, this one's more of a deeper one, is, were there any like critical points or any sacrifices you had to make along your career path of being an artist that you had to maybe sacrifice something or, go through something critical in order to still keep going as an artist?
Mm, that's a good question. I mean, everything is a sacrifice if you see it like a sacrifice. To me,
Mhm.
I didn't been doing sacrifices. I've been doing just like shit I love, but sometimes you can like, I mean, I gotta be totally honest with you. You can just like turn around and say like, holy shit, I spent too much time like worry about make this project and make another project and don't sleep and whatever. And sometimes you forget some like essential things, in your life, like your family or even your friends and shit like that. And even with my friends right now, they are like making fun of me always, like saying like, oh, you need to work, man. For sure, man, you need to work. You're gonna drink with us, or you're gonna go with us to this or whatever. but but I mean, sometimes you can just stop and enjoy the other things too, because you don't need to do like sacrifice like that. And if you are seeing something like a sacrifice, maybe you are doing something wrong, or maybe you are not doing whatever you fucking love, man. But yeah, man, I mean, it's pretty weird, man. It's life, and the time is short always. The time is gonna be short always. So you need to choose what you're gonna do. And about money, I never been super into money. So if
Yeah.
I need to spend a lot of fucking money in a project, but I really love that shit, and I don't gonna make any fucking dollar after that, I
Yeah.
don't care because I want to do it. But at the end, when you getting adult and you have these fucking responsibilities and shit like that, you can take that shit like a sacrifice, but it's not a sacrifice. It's just you're just doing whatever you fucking want, man.
What you're
You can
looking.
solve problems like money, like fucking, but you can't solve problems like time. So if you If the time goes by, you're gonna fucking regret. Maybe sometimes, maybe at the end, the sacrifice is gonna be leave your fucking dream behind, you know, because you're gonna say like, yeah, I need to have a job, I need to pay the rent or whatever. Do
Yeah.
whatever you need to fucking do it. And
Hmm.
I'm still working on that shit. I have more than 10 years doing this shit,
Yeah.
and I, I'm I can't figure out how you can do it. 1 year can be like for this project or that project or from this fucking show or whatever, and the other year can be a fucking studio, 3D animation studio. The other year can be a fucking festival or whatever. So I mean, it's a coaster, be a freelance and being an artist. So it's a pretty tough question, tough decision, to be
Yeah.
honest, man.
I completely agree with you 100%. Is like you gotta, if you're really passionate about something, you gotta love doing it because that's how you want to spend your time. You don't want to waste any time. You don't want to lose any time doing something you don't like doing, you know? And
Yeah,
then, you just gotta be really, really also motivated to do it. And don't regret not doing it either. Like don't live your whole life being like, oh, I should have done what I wanted to do. And let that
yeah.
whole time go by and be like, now you're old or now you can't do as much, And so
And
you
you
don't want to live
all
your
in, yeah. But you know, you're gonna be old one day.
yeah.
You're gonna be fucking old, and you're gonna be with kids maybe with another responsibilities.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be harder every time. Every year it's getting harder.
Yeah.
So if someone younger watching us, just do it right now and take it really serious,
Mhm.
since the beginning. So yeah, man. I
And
mean,
then,
because at the end the sacrifice is gonna be your own like dream or goal or whatever. It's
yeah,
gonna be putting that shit aside all the time. So maybe.
I always think like the biggest risk is not doing it sooner. You know,
Mhm.
that's the biggest risk is like you start now. Don't ever wait for like that perfect time or like the perfect moment to be like, oh, this is the time I'm gonna do it. Just start it because there's not gonna be that perfect time.
Nah, never, man. The perfect time for anything. It's gonna be. I mean, nothing's perfect, man. To to start, you know.
Just do it and start going at it. You're gonna do mistakes, but at least you started it.
Yeah.
And so the last two questions, the most important questions I wanted to ask you was for anybody starting up right now, listening, who needs some sort of pickup or some type of like learning curve is like compared to where you're at right now, what are things that you know now that you wish you would have known when you first started being an artist?
That's a good question. The first thing is, if you wanna be an artist, just do it. And to be honest, it's pretty important. Don't say you're an artist.
Mm,
I don't say it right now. I'm saying it right now because I mean you're telling me like you're an artist, and I can say it. But if you say I'm an artist very soon, maybe that's gonna stop you to learn a lot of things. I hear a guy when I start who said like, artist is a title who the people give you. It's not something you can like put in yourself. You know, you can't say like I'm an artist since the beginning. He said like you need to earn it, and maybe that's pretty important when you start. Because I've been working with some young people, and I don't want to say nothing wrong or whatever. It's just like an advice. Some people
mm,
tell you like I know everything already, man. I'm a fucking artist. So, and I was like, okay, bro. so,
yeah,
so what I gonna tell you, man? So that's cool, man. I have fucking 15 years doing this shit, and I'm still fucking stupid for this shit.
the learning year.
So yeah, it's a learning curve, like you were saying. It's an like you need to be evolving. The other thing is, if you take this serious, just do it. Just do it for a lot of hours daily, daily, daily. Because I've been learning super slow because I've been taking a lot of fucking projects, different projects. In some projects, when you start, you say like yes to everything. Yes, yes, yes. That project, yes. That project too, yes. That one, it's perfect. Whatever. But at the end, you're gonna be with a fucking ton of projects doing at the same time. You don't gonna fucking have time to do each project with the time
Yeah,
the deserve, you know. And you're gonna learn shit. You need to learn to say no to some projects you don't want it, because I can tell. I mean, if I back in time and I can talk with the old Pilo, or John Pilo, I can tell him like, dude, don't say yes to everything, man. That's crazy, man. That's fucking, because that's a very important thing to start to be more professional. When you learn to say like, no, man, I can't right now. It's pretty complicated for this, whatever. Don't close the door, but be honest and say like, nah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and about the artist, yeah, think that shit in your mind. Say like, yeah, I'm gonna be an artist and I'm gonna be this shit, but don't say it too soon. Because sometimes I've been watching some people who was saying that shit like super soon, and you
Yeah.
can talk with that people because it's like, okay, man, you have this romantic shit about art, being an artist, but being an artist at the end is fucking been fighting for money, been fighting for time, been fighting because art requires a lot of time. The art projects requires a lot of time, and it's. I mean, it's pretty weird, man. But yeah, if I could tell you something, is that, man. Just being honest with you, and if you wanna be an artist, just do it.
Hmm.
Don't tell like nothing. Just do it, and yeah, learn to you need to start to say no to some things because your path is this, and you start to say yes to everything. So your path is gonna be like, wow,
Yeah, you can get
whatever, man.
overwhelmed and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my biggest mistake when I was younger, man, saying yes to everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you. It's just like people who are too much of an ego, for lack of a better word, is that they say they know everything, that they know everywhere, but like even how you're saying yourself, you're a very professional and talented artist, and you're still learning after 15 years, of creating art and all that.
Thank you, man. Thank you
It's
for
just
those kind words,
yeah.
man.
No, you're a big inspiration for a lot of people, and to oh, this wouldn't be a surprise to you, but a lot of people are really excited about this episode too, of like having you on the show. A
Oh,
lot of
really?
people look up to your work. I mean, the things that are still at the Galeria Lincoln right now, your shipping container, they redid the house, but the shipping container is still there, and a lot of people still go through it. I went to their last event, the music video that they had for cocoa butter and all that. And a lot of your work, there's people there taking photos that inspired by it, and I'm like, your work inspires a lot of people, and I feel like that's the biggest benefit to see, is like aside of money, aside from all the problems on it, the biggest benefit is to see people inspired by your work and inspired by
Oh,
your
thank.
vision, things like
Yeah,
that.
that's amazing to be honest, man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, thanks, man. That's you make my
So,
day right now. That's amazing, man.
yeah, brother. So before we let you go, where can people find you? Where do you have like a website, your social media? Where can people contact you and things like that?
I'm not the best with social media, as you
Mhm.
know already. I mean, I'm not the best. I'm not the best answering like message and shit like that. To be honest, I'm trying to improve that part, and someone is helping me to teach me how to do it because I
Yeah.
was saying that I'm like an old man for a lot of shit. And but I'm working on my web page too. But right now I just have my Instagram.
Mhm.
I'm working on my Instagram, pilopida underscore JFC. Uh, DM me and we can talk about it,
Mhm.
whatever. If you need whatever, just we can talk
Any help,
about it.
any
And
things like that. Yeah.
yeah, my Gmail, I use a lot of my email, to be honest. I really love email. I don't know why, because I'm thinking like 2010 maybe.
No,
The
email
email
helps a lot. I use it a
is
lot.
like a super important. It's like, yeah, man.
Mhm.
If I have an email, I'm gonna read it. If I have an Instagram message, maybe I don't gonna see it because I spend like 3 or 4 days without Instagram, to be honest, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but yeah, but my email and my Instagram are gonna improve that shit.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
goal
I
for
wish I
this
could do
year.
that. I wish I could live like 3 or 4 days without social media, but I have
Yeah,
brands
right.
to manage and things like that. So I'm like, I can't do that no matter how bad I want to. I can't let it go for like a day because then
Yeah,
go for
sometimes
that.
I'm a fucking old man for a lot of shit, man. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
like
weird, man.
even our old page, the first El Paso Creators page that we had, the one that we lost, when that got deactivated and all that, it was horrible. It was crazy. Like people were like, where did the page go? Things and that. So like to live a day without social media for me, it's I wish I could, but I can't. I felt on your shoes. No, but again, I mean, Pedro, thank you so much for being on the show with us. Thank you for coming on. This is
Thank
another
you,
episode
brother.
that hopefully inspires other people.
I
And
hope so, yeah. And And thank you, man. You are inspiring a lot of, I mean, a lot of people because all these like conversations are like amazing. I wish, I mean, I
That's,
gotta hear all the episodes right now, man. To be
yeah.
honest, I'm gonna be
That's,
a
yeah,
big fan
so
of your
like,
show from now.
from now.
Yeah, no,
Subscribe.
I don't gonna lie to you, and I'm gonna,
Nah, man.
I'm gonna say like, yeah, man, I already hear all. No, man, because I'm a fucking idiot for social media sometimes, man.
Yeah, no, that's
I
fine.
need to just put on the browser of Spotify, like, yeah, I want to hear about psychology right now. So
Just
psychology
click it,
shit.
boom. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a fucking idiot. I want to hear about skate, so skate shit. But yeah, but now, man, I'm gonna hear all these episodes. But
Yeah.
yeah,
They even have podcasts about like
not this one, because it's gonna be like super embarrassing about my voice, because my voice is like really weird
that's
when I
how I
hear
was
it.
at first. That's how I was. I was like, "Oh, I don't want to hear my own voice. I felt very weird. I was like, that's not me. It's like some weird little kid or whatever, you know. Then you get used to it. You just get used to seeing yourself. When I first did news interviews, I was like, oh man. Like I remember I did a news interview one time
Oh,
and
maybe you're
like,
right.
oh, go ahead. I didn't
Maybe
hear
you're right, man,
you. Yeah.
because I've been invited to be the host of a podcast before the COVID. So I was saying like I said like yes, man, let's do it, whatever. But I did like a test with my phone, and it's like holy shit, my
It
voice
takes
is
a
like
while. Yeah.
horrible, man. I don't want to do that shit, man.
Yeah, because I was a
But
really
yeah,
shy
man.
person at first too, but man, I just you have to overcome these things, you know, in order to like get where you want to go. Like if you're gonna do something, there's things you gotta overcome, which is like shyness and like hearing your own voice, seeing yourself in video. So yeah, so I'm gonna let you go, man. But I appreciate you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, bro.